You wake up, feeling a little groggy, and slap a sausage and some eggs into a frying pan. The breakfast of champions. Today is a busy day at the office, so lunch is going to have to be quick. An energy bar will do. Hey, at least it has 20 grams of protein. After work, you hit the gym, where your fellow lifters give you a commemorate nod when they see you crack open your post-workout protein shake. Dinner is a meal Oprah keeps recommending to lose weight. Tuna and a side of broccoli. Sound like a normal day? As far as the American diet goes, most people would consider the assortment of meals to be on the healthful end of the spectrum. However, this diet is highly unbalanced, mainly in one specific aspect. It exceeds your daily protein requirement by at least twofold. Why is this a problem? I thought protein was healthy for me. Well, it is, in the right amounts. Too much protein, however, can actually be really hard on your body. The truth is, a widespread misconception governs the food choices of our country. People think they need to consume massive amounts of dietary protein in order to be strong and healthy. This is a myth, which has largely been perpetuated by ad campaigns from the meat and dairy industry, as well as by the fitness industry through the marketing of protein supplement products. We are constantly bombarded with advertising and media imagery that equate animal food products and protein supplements with strength, gender identity, and the potential of gaining your dream body. The fact is, we need far less of this macronutrient than we think. The National Institute of Health recommends that adult males and females, ages 14 to 70, consume about 0.8 to 0.9 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. For females, this is about 46 grams per day, and for males, 56 grams per day. Babies, ages 1 to 3, need about 13 grams a day, and kids, ages 4 to 8, need 19 grams a day. And women who are pregnant or lactating need about 71 grams of protein per day. To find your protein requirement, take your body weight in pounds and multiply by 0.36, and you will get your recommended protein intake in grams. Some facts about dietary protein. Dietary proteins are broken down into amino acids during digestion. Amino acids are raw material which are used in manufacturing structural and functional cellular compounds in the body, such as enzymes, transport carriers, and membranes, as well as some hormones. 9 of the 20 distinct amino acids are considered essential because they cannot be made by the body and must be obtained from dietary sources. All essential amino acids originate from plants and microbes. In other words, animals must consume essential amino acids from plant sources. Carbohydrates are your body's main energy source, not protein. The primary role of dietary protein is for use in the various anabolic processes of the body, building, maintaining, and repairing tissues in the body. The Center for Disease Control says that protein deficiency is quite rare in healthy adults. According to Health Grove, the annual mortality rate of protein energy malnutrition in the United States is 1.2 deaths per 100,000 people. In this country, you are far more likely to consume excess protein than too little. The average American consumes about double the protein their body needs. Additionally, the main source of protein consumed tends to be animal products, which are high in fat and saturated fat. Most individuals are surprised to learn that protein needs are actually much less than they have been consuming. Some of the risks involved with consuming excess protein include osteoporosis. A protein-heavy diet generates large amounts of acid in body fluids. The kidneys mediate this excess acid with increased net acid excretion, and the skeleton buffers the acidity by releasing minerals from the bone, all resulting in excessive calcium loss. Increased protein has also been associated with poor kidney health. Low fluid intake and excessive intake of protein are strong risk factors for kidney stones. Overconsumption of protein results in increased acid and calcium excretion in the urine. This protein-induced hypercalcium excretion may lead to the formation of calcium kidney stones. These consequences are especially true for animal protein, which increases acid load and ammonia production, damaging sensitive kidney cells. Animal protein is thought to cause kidney inflammation and stress. Restricting and ideally eliminating animal proteins is a therapeutic intervention for kidney disease. There's a link between high meat intake and risk of colorectal, breast, and prostate cancer. There's also a link between red and processed meat consumption and type 2 diabetes. Additionally, high protein consumption has been linked with heart disease and cancer. There are many misconceptions that govern the food choices of people in this country surrounding protein. One is the idea of a complete protein. A complete protein is simply one that contains all 9 essential amino acids. And the truth is that all plant proteins have all 9 essential amino acids. The only dietary incomplete protein is gelatin. The idea that meat is the only complete protein is incorrect, yet is a rampant, destructive belief that saturates our society. The truth is, all whole foods contain all 9 of the essential amino acids. The controversy arises when some nutritionists mistakenly believe that the essential amino acids must be present in specific proportions in order to constitute a complete source of protein. In fact, the research from which this common misconception originates is from over 100 years ago on rats. The study found that infant rats did not grow as well on plant-based diets as they did on diets of animal products. But then again, rat infants grow about 10 times more rapidly than human infants, and so these results are highly inapplicable to humans. Another myth is the idea of protein combining. The idea that we need to eat specific vegetarian protein foods together to balance amino acids in specific proportions. This idea was refuted decades ago, however. We now know that the idea that plant proteins are incomplete and inferior to animal proteins in terms of their amino acid proportions is false. However, even within the scientific community, this misinformation continues to spread. According to the UC Davis Department of Integrative Medicine, it is now known that intentional combining of plant foods is not necessary for our body to absorb all of the essential amino acids as long as you consume enough calories to maintain a healthy weight and eat mainly unprocessed or minimally processed vegetables, intact legumes, and whole grains, and limit processed and refined junk food. And do not base your diet on fruits alone. Our body has the capability to break down and mix and match amino acids in whatever proportion it needs. According to the American Heart Association, a vegetarian based on any single one or combination of these unprocessed starches, rice, corn, potatoes, beans, with the addition of vegetables and fruits, supplies all the protein, amino acids, essential fats, and vitamins, with the exception of vitamin B12, necessary for excellent health. To wrongly suggest that people need to eat animal protein will encourage them to add foods that are known to contribute to heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and many forms of cancer, just to name a few common problems. The American Diabetic Association agrees. Well-planned vegetarian diets are appropriate for individuals during all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, adolescence, and for athletes. Furthermore, vegetarians tend to have a lower body mass index and a lower overall cancer rates. Features of a vegetarian diet may reduce risk of chronic diseases, including lower intakes of saturated fat and cholesterol, and higher intakes of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, soy products, fiber, and phytochemicals. Even vegetarians and vegans get, on average, 70% more protein than they need each day. The animal product industry has been responsible for funding studies that have contributed to the idea that protein is necessary in large amounts to support optimum bodily function. Which leads me to my next point, athletes. Don't athletes need tons of protein to build up all that strong muscle? Well, around this subject there is lots of controversy. For a long time, scientists believed that athletes needed much more protein than other people. In truth, athletes, even those who strength train, need only slightly more protein. According to a paper from the International Society of Sports Medicine, this looks like about 1.4 to 2.0 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. This protein requirement is easily met due to the larger servings of food that athletes require for their higher caloric intake. According to the US and Canadian dietary reference intakes, the recommended allowance of protein of 0.8 grams protein per kilogram body weight is the average daily intake level that is sufficient to meet the nutrient requirements of nearly all, about 98%, of healthy individuals. This panel also stated, in view of the lack of compelling evidence to the contrary, no additional dietary protein is suggested for healthy adults undertaking resistance or endurance exercises. With athletes, the timing of protein ingestion is very important. Put simply, protein should be consumed early during the post-exercise recovery phase, so about 1 hour after exercise. My point is this: be wary of advertisements and media portrayal of nutrients and their reasons for promoting these nutrients. Be mindful of what our true nutrient intakes are. Remember, for men, this is 56 grams of protein per day, women 46 grams, and aware of where media influence has clouded our minds and convinced us of things that aren't true.